for Mitt Romney. Here's another. The Republican front runner might not be the front runner, at least not now. According to Rasmussen, Newt's the party's new beaut. The former speaker, now the present Republican leader, for now, to a not-so-convinced Ron Paul. The Texas congressman joins me out of Manchester, New Hampshire. Congressman, what do you think of that poll?
Showing Newt well ahead. Well, there's been quite a few that jump up in the polls and they quickly go down, so only time will tell how long he'll be up there.
So you have your doubts as to whether this up again, down again fate of Republican leaders continues, right?
Yeah, I would have to think so. Any of these polls that, somebody announces and they're at the top within a week and then they're down in 3 weeks and it's up and down.
Right.
They can't be all that reliable, and I was just talking to some people today that seem to be pretty knowledgeable how politics work. He says, in reality, people wait till the last, couple weeks and then they really make up their minds. We're getting awfully close to that,
right.
But there still will be a lot of minds made up yet between now and next month.
You had said, and we're going to get to this in a second in a little more detail, Congressman, that you don't think Newt Gingrich is a true conservative. What did you mean by that?
And who said he was a true conservative?
You did. You doubted he was a true conservative.
Oh, I doubted it. Yeah,
right.
I know you said I said it was. Well, you get in playing these games on semantics. What I think a true conservative is might not be exactly what you think a true conservative is. But, what I think about as true conservatives in voting in the Congress over the years is when you have a vote on a conservative issue and you only get 10 or 15 or 20, maybe 30 voting, what the true conservative position is. And I would say that I never remember or thinking that Newt Gingrich was part of that group.
Interesting, because you sort of upped the ante here that since we had this surge of Newt Gingrich, you have probably led more than others the effort to reassess the whole Gingrich presidential candidacy. This ad is what's striking people's attention. We got a clip from it right here.
Newt Gingrich renewed his support for an individual mandate, a key tenet of President Obama's health care law.
Support for an individual mandate? Folks, don't ask me to explain this.
And a real question of seriousness, serious question of seriousness.
Everything that Gingrich railed against when he was in the House, he went the other way when he got paid to go the other way.
You're an embarrassment to our party.
He's flipped and flopped based on who's paying him.
He's demonstrating himself to be the very essence of the Washington insider.
Boy, that was a fast spot to get out there. When did you guys put this together?
That was just a couple days ago. Matter of fact, that wasn't too tough because we didn't have to be too creative. We just had to, get some clips, mostly of what he said or somebody else said about him. So we weren't all that creative. We don't have any creative language in there. That's not me giving an opinion. It was just a recording. And I think one of the things, I really don't like that part of politics. I wish we could just debate purely the issues. But I think I was a little bit frustrated with the fact that these events weren't being fully discussed in the media. At the same time, I thought the media was getting out of control when they were dwelling so much time on another candidate and had nothing to do with his issues and his beliefs. And, of course, you know who I'm talking about.
Are you talking about Herman Cain right now?
Yeah, I mean, how much time should we spend on that? I mean, I don't say the media shouldn't even talk about it, but, if you go back and look at the hours spent on that versus the little bit of information talking about the flip-flopping of the candidates and their positions, I just thought it was necessary to get some of that information out.
All right, so I take it from what you mean, this announcement that Herman Cain is going to make tomorrow, I guess whether he's in or out of the race, you don't think that this should be the issue that takes him out of the race?
And I would have preferred that it would have been his proposal for a national sales tax and the fact that he was closely connected to the Federal Reserve System and that he supported the bailouts. I mean, that to me was much more important than spending the time and energies and the amount of airtime used to talk about something that, like I said, was important. But in priorities, I would have said that these issues are more important, whether they're Herman Cain's or Newt Gingrich's positions. I think we should talk about where they've been and what they do and how often they change their tune. And I think that would be a much better use of time on the air.
So would you feel the same way if some of the same issues that have come up against Herman Cain, fairly or not, Congressman, come up against Newt Gingrich and his prior marriages and handling of relationships? Would that also be out of bounds?
Well, I don't know if I'd use the out of bounds stuff because I think there's probably no new stuff on Newt, So maybe he's has an advantage there that everybody knows about it, and it's everybody knew about Clinton, and I think we're a very forgiving nation. It's when it's new, and it seems like it strikes the fancy and gets the attention of the listening audience, and it must be good TV or they wouldn't do it. I mean, it's on constantly. So I just don't think it's likely to happen to Newt because I think everybody knows what has happened, and he hasn't denied anything.
Right.
He's explained his position on this, so I think that's a little bit different.
Nevertheless, given this ad that's out, and you're right, you're quoting and just putting together a bunch of sources from Rush Limbaugh and other commentators and reporters and the like, but in the end, it could do a considerable amount of damage to him in these tip-off states. If he is still the nominee, could and would you support him?
Well, he hints at times where I think, if somebody changes a position, that's one thing, but if a person changes a position, he's real sincere, you shouldn't be closed-minded. And he's one of the other candidates, although they all talk a little bit more sympathetic about knowing more about the Federal Reserve and lending toward auditing. Actually, Newt has been one of the best of the other candidates. He's been pretty blunt about it.
So you could support him?
Well, I'm telling you that if there was more of that, if there was more of him and I coming to agreements, and I can be convinced, but I think there are some issues there that would be quite difficult because he really loves the Patriot Act, and that means he doesn't care about the Fourth Amendment and these kind of things. So I'd have to be convinced, but he's sort of opening up my mind to the fact that maybe he is sincere about the Federal Reserve. So that, to me, it means I ought to keep an open mind.
Maybe you're contagious, Congressman. We had your son here, Rand Paul, the Kentucky senator, who said he doesn't think you would ever entertain running as a third-party candidate. Is he right?
That's pretty darn close. I mean, I'm not thinking about it because, look, I'm not doing badly right now. It seems like we're very happy with our polls, so why should we even talk about it or think about it? So we concentrate only on one thing, keep moving up in the polls and see how things come out in a month or two.
All right. We'll watch closely. You're polling very well in the meantime, Congressman. Thank you very, very much. Be well.
All right. Thank you.
Well, you heard her.